Oh, fuck no. 2D4 clan, they hack. Fuck them.
Yeah, you can do that when you fucking hack all the time.
Yeah, welcome to YouTube, bitch. How's it going, everybody? I am Money here, and today I have a bonus video for you. I wasn't supposed to post till tomorrow, and my last video actually hasn't finished cycling yet, but I woke up with this thing on my mind because the other day I was playing against this guy named Camp Colorado, and it's gonna sound kind of weird because he's got the name Camp in his name, and he's a prolific camper, but he was complaining on Dome that we spawn trapped him, and I was trying to explain to him that we didn't spawn trap him, he spawn trapped himself. And I determined that a lot of people don't understand the spawn system. I guess we just look more in depth into the game than other people do. So today I'm going to be knocking out a Drifter Edition kind of spawn system, and I don't have the editing skills or any of that crap that the other big YouTubers have. So I'm literally going to try to break it down, and if this commentary sounds a little forced, it's because I have talking points, and I want to go through the talking points to ensure that I don't miss anything and that you guys can kind of get a full understanding of it. And as I go through the talking points, I'm going to try to give my own little analogies of it as usual and try to dumb it down to where even the most novice of players can understand what I'm talking about. So for spawn system purposes, we're going to work on, keep in mind we're going to be on the map Dome. And we're going to be on the map Dome because one, it's the smallest map, and since it's the smallest map, it's the easiest spawn system to manipulate. And we're going to start all the way from the beginning and work all the way to the top. Everything from the opening route to where you eventually end up getting yourself stuck in positions to where it seems like you spawn trapped, like we spawn trapped you, when in reality, and all your actions on your team eventually led you to get yourself spawn trapped. So we're going to begin. First things first is going to be a number game. I want you to think of my 6 versus your 6 in terms of skill level. Now that has nothing to do with the spawn system or anything, but just keep in mind that my 6, generally speaking, is better than your 6. And when it comes down to being a number game, what I mean is my 6 can kill off your 6 a lot faster than you can kill my 6. So if we're all 2-point players, for every 2 kills I get, I die once. Well, your KDR is below 1, so you're going to die a couple times before you get 1 kill on us. So keep that in mind. It's a number game. We're going to keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Next thing I want to talk about is the Modern Warfare 3 spawn system. A lot of people had a lot of gripes about the Modern Warfare 3 spawn system, saying it's flawed, it's effed up, you can spawn trap people. But in reality, and I can't touch on Call of Duty 4 or Modern Warfare 2 because I did play the games, but I didn't know the spawn system as well. And in Black Ops 1, you could get spawn trapped fairly easily. The difference between Modern Warfare 3 and say Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, the newer generation versions or whatever, Modern Warfare 3 attempts to place you in a safe position, and that safe position is usually determined by the position of your team. Whereas in Black Ops 1, you can continually spawn in the same spot over and over and over and over again, and the other team can rack up 200, 300 kills on you depending on the game mode and how long the game lasts. Modern Warfare 3 attempted to break all those spawn points up. So look at the map, and we're going to say it's 100%. The whole map is a square. Now cut that map in half, and whatever position that most of your team is on, if you have 4 people on one side and 2 on the other side, once one of you dies, the spawn system is going to put you back on your side of the map. Now imagine that's just a square, and we just cut it in half. It's very, very simple. Now imagine that square, and we section it off to where it's an L, and then the freaking little small square in the middle. Now you're going to be the little small square in the middle because that's where we put your team. Because you guys had 3 or 4 people on your team who decided to sit inside that little square area. Well, 2 of you, and we'll say 4 of you, camped in that little square area, and 2 of you pushed out. Well, for the 2 people who keep pushing out, you're going to end up running against, a stronger force because you're basically playing 2 on 6. Because the other 4 of your teammates are still in that little square. They haven't moved. They're just sitting there just waiting. Whether they're campers, whether they're snipers, it doesn't matter. They're dictating your next spawn. Because what's going to happen is you're going to run out, you're going to die, and you're going to spawn with those guys in that little square. Well, the more often we kill you and the more often your team sits inside that little square, that square becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. Now in terms of the game, how do you relate that? Say in the warehouse and in the bunker. If we never go inside the bunker, we're not inside that little square. If you have teammates camping inside the bunker like most teams usually do, camping inside the windows, that dictates your square. If you have people sitting in the back of the warehouse shooting out the back, that dictates your square. If you have people in the bunker just sitting in the bunker camping, looking into the dome or something, that dictates your square. And if you have people camping inside the dome like you usually have, that dictates your square. And those are 4 common spawns that people just camp out for no apparent reason. What people don't realize is that as we play the game, my 6 is out killing your 6. It's a numbers game. And the ones that aren't dying, they're sitting in one of those 4 spawn points. And those spawn points are dictating your spawn. So even though you're running around, you're continuing to spawn around the guy who's camping. So as soon as you run out, you're going to die, because we know where you are, because we know there's a guy in one of those 4 spawn points camping in there. So that's how we always know where the team is going to spawn. So people say, how did you know where I was going to spawn? How do you always know where I'm at? Because we have dictated where you're going to spawn by the simple fact that you're camping. It may not be you, it may not be 2 of you, but majority of your team is not moving fast enough, and they're just sitting in a random spot. And people say, well, he's sniping, he's not camping. Well, for the purpose of this, sniping is camping, because if you're not moving, that dictates your future spawn, and it dictates your team's future spawn. So that's how we always know the positioning of the team. Without a UAV, I don't need anything else but to know where my team is. Because if I know where my team is, I know where the enemy is spawning. And for the most part, the way the map is controlled, or how we control it, we already know where you're spawning in general. All we need to do is figure out who are the campers, kill them off a few times, and leave them alive to where we want them to spawn. And that's basically how that goes on Dome. If you want to camp, and we've determined that, hey, this guy's camping as soon as we rush to spawn, he's in the dome, well, you're one of the guys we're going to leave alone. You're going to go inside the window in the warehouse, and we're going to be in positions where you can't hit us, and the whole team is just going to spawn around you, and we're going to pick them off one by one until we rack up 2, 3, 4 Moabs on you. And that's usually how we drop multiple Moabs, because the team with the most campers is bound to lose, and we're bound to rack up way more kill streaks on you. Everyone has played the game to where you spawn and you run away, another teammate might have just spawned in front of you, or a guy might have spawned right 2 seconds after you, or there's a guy to your left, or as soon as you spawn you see a sniper sitting there. That's because those individuals are in your little square, and they are dictating your spawn, and your square cannot grow any larger until the team as a collective, not just you, not just 2 people, but you as a collective, which is, if it's 3 versus 3, at least 4 you need to be moving. So you as a collective needs to move. And the way to counter, even if you say we have 4 people running, if 4 of you guys are running and 2 of you are sitting still, you're still gonna spawn near those guys every so often, just not at a high rate of speed. If you were, 3 or 4 you were camping, only 2 of you's camping, that's fine. You'll spawn over there eventually. Then that's where the number games come into play. If my 6 can outkill your 6, you're gonna spawn there a lot quicker than you would if you were staying alive a lot longer. And that's where, keep in mind the number game. But if you had all 6 players running around, then it becomes a lot harder for us to dictate your next spawn, because we have to constantly chase you around the map to kill you, and it makes it a lot harder. The spawn system has predetermined spawn points, so by now everyone should understand that if you cut the map in half, you have so many spots on this map that you're going to spawn at. So everyone should know that. Now on Dome, it's pretty easy to know that, inside the warehouse, inside the bunker, inside the dome, outside the satellites, blah blah blah, all those little spots. So if I cut the map in half and we're in the warehouse, and you keep killing us and I pick off a few of you, you're going to spawn on your side of the spawn point. And that's where I'm saying predetermined spawn points are in the game. Now with those predetermined spawn points, they can be manipulated just like you can manipulate anything else. I can put a claymore there, I can put a bouncing Betty, C4, anything that's going to explode or kill you right off the beginning of you spawning is going to interfere with your spawn. So that's why you can't just put a sentry gun outside of a spawn point and hope it just kills a whole bunch of people. Another thing that's going to dictate the spawn, whereas it manipulates but in a reverse effect, ballistic vests. Ballistic vests force spawns. So when I'm playing with my team and the newer recruits don't seem to understand this, do not put vests inside the warehouse, because when you die and you respawn, there's a good chance once there's enough vests on the map, you're going to spawn on a ballistic vest. And that's to benefit you, to help you out. Well, if you put those vests in the warehouse, or you put them anywhere else on the map where you don't want to spawn, it's going to force that spawn. And usually it's not Dome, but the newer recruits for some reason on Mission, They put vests. As soon as they spawn on the wrong side of the map, and they put vests down, and it forces the spawn, it flips the spawn, and it alters the entire flow of the game. Well, ballistic vests seem to do that. They force your spawn, so keep that in mind. If you got vests inside the warehouse and you're already stuck inside the warehouse, you're going to continue to spawn inside that warehouse until someone cuts those vests or those vests run out. Now, the next big topic I want to get on, and this basically is why we constantly destroy TMC. And even though I don't have, video footage or anything for this part, I want you to go back, if you guys watched the terminal game, and keep that game in mind as I explain this to you. Smalls work the same way. We play faster than you can switch and shoot a small. Eventually you're going to get your team trapped, and it goes back to us being a better team than your team. It's a 6v6 number game again. A lot of people think just because we small the shit out of you, we're going to be able to kill you at a faster rate. Well, that's not really the case. If you go back to the game on terminal, they shot smalls and tubes off the opening route spawn. So as soon as they die, they're going to die again, and that's going to flip their spawn. Well, anyone that had recently just died, they're already going to be near their position of that flip spawn, because right now the game is still positioning us for our spawns. But if you notice, when I run back and forth from the top of the stairs to the metal detectors to the cashmere room, and that's just because they are shooting smalls and killing themselves and not killing us once we have vests on, that they're basically dictating their next spawn, and they're spawning in groves. That's why I was able to run from the metal detectors to the cashmere shop and pick up kills in 3s and 4s, and they didn't even know I was around, because they're shooting smalls and they're killing themselves. C-Dub is classic for this. He will shoot a small, shoot it at his feet, hoping to kill you and himself, when in reality I have a vest on. That's not going to kill me, it's going to kill you, which is going to force you to the next spawn where I have another teammate waiting to kill you. So once you're dead, I'm already at your next spawn. So once you spawn, 3 or 4, you're going to die again in cycles. And then another person is already waiting at your other spawn, roving that area, and you're going to die again in 3 and 4s. And people don't seem to understand that. That's why other clans that use smalls, they don't get more than 15 kills on us. Because once we get vests on and we have UAVs, the map is set up in a situation to where your smalls aren't going to affect us. Even though camping is annoying, camping in the long run has benefited us throughout Modern Warfare 3. And honestly, if it wasn't for campers or people who played slow or people who decided they wanted to snipe, we wouldn't have been able to drop so many Moabs throughout the long run of Modern Warfare 3. So I kind of wanted to get that out there and explain that to everyone. Next time you guys decide, you want to camp, that's why you guys are getting killed at such a high rate of speed. And if you're playing in a clan or a party, don't put campers and people who use smalls and tube in your parties. Yeah, you're gonna stop us from getting the Moab, but you're gonna get blown out and you're gonna fucking destroy your KDR. And for anyone who feels that that's not the case, I posted a whole lot of videos, and I posted them against campers, and I dropped Moabs. I posted them against smalls and tubes, I've dropped Moabs. It really depends on how many of your team is doing it and how good our 6 is versus your 6. So keep that all in mind. I'll catch you guys next time. I hope you guys learned something. I am Money out.